At first, we didn't know if our baby would survive. I was devastated actually when I realized my water broke. The contractions got more and more intense. Went to the hospital, went straight to the labor and delivery room, and I just sat there on the chair and I couldn't move. My doctor colleague checked my cervix and said, I have some bad news. You're fully dilated, your cervix is fully dilated, the baby's head is right there. You're gonna have to push this baby out. I'm like, that's when I thought, now there's no turning back.
After Lucy was born, she was tiny. She was not moving at all. Honestly, I did not know if things were going to be okay. We had finally got a hold of the neonatologist.
It was 8:57 a.m. in the morning. I was on the way to the elevator. The minute I walk into the unit, my chief fellow looks at me, beckons me over and says, there's a 23-weeker in Churchill, and it's the father who's a physician who's intubated this baby. At this point, my heart sank. I was afraid we were going to lose her. With her being that far away, the odds were stacked against us. The weather was bad in Churchill. We immediately had dispatched our transport team. They flew over there. They could fly in. They managed to stabilize Lucy, and the team there had done a great job.
They approached us and asked if Cynthia wanted to spend some time holding our baby.
Essentially, the first time I held her, she was moving her little hands and feet and almost like kind of tickling me on my chest, and it was like she's telling me, you know, it's okay. Like it made it real, you know, the fact that this was my daughter and that she was here. And it was very comforting for me because knowing, you know, that the risk of her not surviving the flight was very high.
I knew we had started the journey, but the main fight was still to begin. I made one promise: if everything goes well, we'll smile together. And if it doesn't, we'll cry together.
What makes this story even more interesting is that the survival in Canada for babies born at 23 weeks gestational age overall is about 40 to 50% at best. The reason that it's so low is because these babies are just old enough and just have the beginnings of lung development to be able to maintain life outside the womb.
For the first 4 or 5 days, it was extremely difficult and stressful and emotional because we didn't know if she was going to survive.
8:57 this morning was her one-day celebration. You were officially 1 day old, kiddo.
We tried to be there as often as possible for Lucy so she could hear our voices, so she could feel our touch. You know, it's very wonderful hours actually to be there with her.
Nutrition is one of the most important parts of the stay in the NICU. The reason for that is you need calories, you need protein, and you need fats, and you need sugars in order to grow properly and heal. Being born very early can be very traumatizing, as you might expect. If you look at babies who are malnourished during their stay in the NICU, they have longer lengths of stay. They have worse outcomes across a variety of conditions that affect the newborn, whether it be their lungs or their bowels. There are questions about how well they would fare from a developmental standpoint.
I was actually pumping breast milk for her every 3 hours, and I think while I was doing that, I was thinking of her. And so I was like, this is one thing I can really do for her. So as the days grew into a week, that's when I thought, oh, this is my daughter. I feel like a mom. The team was talking about fortifying the milk with a commonly used product called human milk fortifier, which is actually a bovine or cow's milk protein. But when I started discussing with one of the nurses about what her thoughts were about this, and she kind of talked about Prolacta as a possible alternative, and that got me intrigued, and I started doing some research. I was absolutely excited and kind of fascinated by the fact that, oh, Prolacta is actually a human milk fortifier, a very concentrated human breast milk product that can be mixed in with my breast milk. And the coolest thing about it is actually that it's not an animal product at all. So that's when we inquired about just starting on Prolacta right from the get-go.
But as Ian and Cynthia advocated for the fact that they did not want a bovine product introduced to the baby, having truly believed in the value of exclusive human milk.
We kept a close eye on how she was doing, and we quickly noticed that her growth was speeding up and progressing very well. She was gaining 10 to 30 grams a day.
After Lucy was on Prolacta for about 6 to 7 weeks, we decided to take her off for about a week. And during that week, she only gained 10 grams during the
entire week.
in the entire week, over 7 days, 10 grams in total. Then we thought, oh, okay, so we put her back on Prolacta, and next thing you know, she gained, I think it was about 210 to 240 grams during the following week. And so clearly we saw some rapid growth.
The babies that we fed Prolacta to were babies that had demonstrated repeated intolerances to feedings, fortified with bovine fortifier. These babies had distended bellies, they weren't stooling properly, they weren't growing properly. Once we started the Prolacta, in each case, the babies were able to advance to their full feedings, come off their IV nutrition, and nurses in particular commented they could tell the difference it was making.
You know, what I can say is that exclusive human milk fortifier is a valuable weapon or a defensive tool in our armamentarium in the care of these very fragile and preterm babies. In an ideal world, and we all strive to make the world ideal, is to have all our babies exclusively on a human milk diet.
One of the things I would advise other parents in similar situation would be to keep asking questions. You need to advocate for your baby. If you don't understand something, definitely ask.
My thoughts were with Lucy and with Ian and Cynthia because we didn't know how the story is going to turn out, and you really, really wanted the story to end well.
Well, our daughter Lucy is growing really quickly. She loves to eat. She's also a very active child.
I think Prolacta really helped her started on the right growth trajectory. She has been eating so well, growing so well, and we just feel very blessed that she's turned out the way she has.
We're really grateful for the care we received from Dr. Ganesh, Dr. Narvi, and the entire team at Children's Hospital in Winnipeg. And just how she's doing right now is the combined efforts of all the prayers we received from family, friends, and the support we received from our home community up in Churchill. All of it together has brought us to where we are now. And we're really happy and grateful for how our daughter is turning out.